Let's get this over with. Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome to Horror Movie Massacre, presented by the Horror Syndicate. I'm Razor, the host of our shows. We're talking about the 2019 attempt at a remake for The Child's Play, the legendary horror film, the horror film from 1988. Um, and I know Seth has a few things to say. I have a few things to say, but we also want to hear from you. Don't forget to like this video because it helps spread the word. Like us on Facebook, like us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, make sure you subscribe to Rage of Razor on YouTube because tonight we are going to be doing, after this show at some point, our DCEU post mortem. So we'll be doing we'll be doing our ranking, Seth's personal ranking, and my personal ranking, and kind of talking about the 16 films that oddly enough there were 16 of them. Anyway, and how discombobulated it was. But right now we're talking about the 2019 Child's Play film and how mid it is, pretty much. And surprise, there's Seth. Seth, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for asking.
Now, now, of course, whoa, how'd that happen? That's first of all, let's go right into it. That is the score of our viewers, 55%. So that's where I'm going to start this off with asking you: do you think this movie is deserved of a score that is that mid level score, 55%? What are your thoughts?
Uh, I don't know. I'm mixed on this movie because I feel like it's a it's a good movie. Like on its own, it's a good movie, but as a Child's Play movie, it sucks. And I feel like this would have been better off if it was just its own original IP with some sort of like AI doll. You could have everything else be the same, just not Chucky and Andy, and have this
Mm-hmm.
story of the AI doll, and
Mm-hmm.
and it would have been perfectly fine. But the interesting thing with that is like when I went to go see it with my friend Mike when it came out, we were talking about it after, and I mentioned that how I thought it was a good movie as is, but I didn't like it as Child's Play because I thought it should have been its own original thing because I think it's good
Yeah.
enough to have been to be its own. But then he brought up the point of, well, if it wasn't called Child's Play, would I went to have seen it? And probably not. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
proved that last year with Megan. I have still haven't seen Megan, um, but yeah. So like, I'm kind of mixed on this one because I think there's good elements to it, but um, I think it shouldn't have been called Child's Play.
No, I agree with you, and it shouldn't have been a doll that resembles Chucky, which I don't know how they would have pulled that off. Would it be too future? Would they have gone pretty futuristic, or like what other ideas could they have had instead of making a redheaded doll? The legendary horror man, a legend in his own mind. Um, what's up? The crazy part is you're using two different things to watch us. I give this film a 49%. I'm curious how you came upon that score. Um, I give it a 65. It's okay. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I don't know. This I enjoyed watching it in the theater. To be completely honest, I had a fun theatrical time. But I've only watched it once since then, and the second time around, I was like, okay, I get it. It's eh, like nothing spectacular. I'm not a huge fan of Aubrey Plaza, and seeing her not be so negative and dark was kind of jarring. I've only ever seen her in things like that, where she's pretending to be happy or something like that. She's just not my style of person. But yeah, I didn't like the doll. I will say I like Mark Hamill uh, doing the voice, and I like that they showed some Texas Chainsaw too in the movie. Um, those are my big takeaways. What about you? What are the things you like and dislike? Thought we had his technical issues fixed last week, but apparently they've returned. Seth, you there?
Can you repeat the question?
What are the things you liked about this one, and the things you didn't like? You may have to turn your camera off.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're just there's either a really bad delay or you're not coming through something. Yeah, Seth always seems to have some issues, some nagging issues with his connection. So hopefully this will work. That's why in the last few episodes you haven't seen his face. You've seen images. All right, what happened?
I don't know. I froze up, so I just I switched back to my laptop camera because I tried, because like the last episode we did, everything seemed to have gone fine since I deleted some stuff on my computer, and I was like, oh, maybe I could try my external camera again, and so I had that plugged in, but then I don't know, starting to get glitchy again, so I switched back to my laptop camera, and if this fucks up, I'll just go back to the avatar.
Yeah, that worked for sure. Sounds like you're coming through pretty decently so far. Anyway, let's get back to the what we were talking about. What are, excuse me, the things that did work for you in this one, and yeah, tell us the things that didn't work for you.
The things that did work for me, so I did like the aspect of it of where Chucky was killing people to protect Andy. I thought that was
Hmm.
an interesting sort of kind of take on this particular story. So I actually kind of enjoyed that. I think for the most part the acting's pretty good. The kid that plays Andy is gives a pretty good performance in it. I think it's got some really good kills and it's got some good gore in it as well. Um, and then as far as what I don't like, obviously I don't like the design of Chucky in this film.
Yeah, it's weird
I hate
looking.
the fact that in that one scene where Andy and his friends are watching uh, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, poor fucking LG. It was like all out of order, and that just kind of
Hmm.
drove me nuts. um, and then the third act, everything that happens in the toy store, I just didn't care for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're pretty much on the same page with a lot of that stuff. It was like I mentioned it. I thought it was cool to see Texas Chainsaw 2. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's the same thing that would bug me. Oh, that doesn't go there. Oh, wait, that happened before the last thing it showed. That as
Yeah,
horror nerds, or in movie nerds in general, that's something that we're gonna notice, and it's gonna stand out like a sore thumb. And yeah, you know, it's somewhat forgivable, but overall, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about this remake. It was an attempt, as I said, at remaking. One of the uh, well, 1988, of course, was a huge year in horror, and it was kind of a poor attempt in I don't know. Like, let me ask you this: if you're gonna rank the big franchises remakes, like we're talking the Halloween remake from Rob Zombie, Elm Street, Friday the 13th, the big Dawn of the Dead, where do you think this one would land? Somewhere in the middle for me.
Yeah, it'd be somewhere in the middle for me. I mean, I think generally speaking, it's a better film than the Elm Street remake.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't. It's not as good as. I know you don't like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, but I love that. So I don't think this is as good as that. I don't think this is as good as Friday the 13th. I don't think it's as good as Dawn of the Dead. Um,
Definitely, Dawn of the Dead is on another level for me. I think the Dawn of the Dead remake is superb.
yeah,
So
yeah. And then as far as like Rob Zombie's Halloween, it's debatable. I guess it depends on my mood. Because there's times where I like that a little bit. You know.
yeah, yeah. There's times that I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad, and then I'll watch it and I'm like, fucking hate
Yeah.
this movie. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like an every other year thing for me with that movie. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of people love Rob Zombie's Halloween, and good for them. Not for me. It's definitely still, no matter what, not a movie I care for. Um, but I don't know. This is like I said. I went and watched it a second time after I had it on Blu-ray, and I was like, it's not that great. The first time I had fun. Me and Reynolds. I was like, I walked out of the theater thinking to myself, I was like, what was a fun theatrical experience? It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. And that's why I keep calling it kind of mid. It did score higher on my list than I expected, but I think that has a lot. It's deeper when it comes to the filmmaking aspect because it was shot pretty well, and
Oh yeah.
cinematography and the score wasn't bad and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's where
Mhm.
my overall score is going to come from is stuff like that. Um,
Well, I remember when this movie came out, I wrote a fairly positive review for it
mhm.
on our website.
Yeah,
But I
well, we
mentioned
like everything,
in that
so
review, I mentioned the whole spiel about. Uh, it's true,
yeah,
me especially.
yeah, right,
um, yeah, but like it's good on some levels, but on other levels, I don't really care for it as much. And even on watching it a couple other times since it came out on Blu-ray, like it's like one of those where it's like I care for it less and less every time I see it. Um, I mean, it's just like I prefer when it comes to Child's Play, I prefer Charles Lee Ray, you know,
hmm
the Lakeshore Strangler, doing voodoo and getting inside a doll's body and that whole thing. Like what they did here um, was a decent way to, I guess, kind of attempt to modernize it, right, with AI and all that. But it's just not my thing, as far as the Child's Play series goes. And like like I was actually negative on this movie before it came out because I was one of those people that was like fuck MGM um for doing this, and they own the title, so it's within their right to exploit that. But like at the same time, it was like around the same time Dom Mancini was kind of going strong. Sean's favorite person ever, Don Mancini. Um, he was going strong with his series, and so. But then when I went to go see it in the theater, I was actually surprised about how much I liked it. It's one of those where it's like it's better than Seed. I think it's better than Bride even, but this is not one that I'm gonna go for. Like when I'm in the
Yeah.
mood for Child's Play, I don't think I've watched this in like 2 years. Um, so
I remember enough about it to where I didn't need to watch it. Yeah, and I think I watched it in 2020 at some point or 2021, one of the two. So I've only seen it twice. I saw it in the theater in 2019, which was part of my over 500 different horror movies in 2019. That was fun. Um, and then I watched it one other time after I got on Blu-ray, and I got on Blu-ray right away, but it was probably more than a year later at least. So I don't know. I'm just not. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that it's not. I don't. It's forgettable. How about that? It's pretty forgettable. Because it's like, oh yeah, there's a Child's Play remake. So.
yeah, I mean, there's only a couple things I can remember here and there.
Hmm.
When I think probably the most memorable thing was when Chucky killed the boyfriend of Aubrey Plaza's character.
Hmm. I can't remember their
But
names. Yeah,
yeah,
I well the guy in the basement was pretty good too.
I vaguely remember that.
Mm. Well, let's take a look at our rankings. You gave it a solid 70%, and yes, that's creepy watching over you.
Yeah, I gave it 70%. That's what, like a C or C minus.
Yeah.
Um, I think it is well directed. It's well shot. I think the score is pretty good, and it's got um, a lot of good ideas in there. It's got good kills, good uh, good good effects for the kills. I would say, um, but I just don't care for the design of Chucky. I don't care for the whole third act in the toy store, and I taken away points for showing TCM2 out of order, and I felt like they did themselves a disservice by making this Child's Play when this could have easily been its own film, and I think it probably could have been better received.
Yeah,
If I remember correctly, I think that movie Megan was pretty well received, and
it was.
I mean I haven't seen it, but like yeah, I mean good for MGM for trying to exploit the title that they own, but they had a lot of really they had a lot of like solid pieces with this where they could have just it could have been their own thing, whole new property.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But oh well. And it didn't do bad at the box office. Their budget was 10 million, I think, and it made almost 50. So that's not too bad. It was in like my takeaway from that was, and this was before because I think the Chucky show started in 2020, right? 2021, something like that.
Something like
My
that. Yeah.
takeaway, yeah, my takeaway though was okay. At 45, $50 million seems like people are interested in seeing Chucky in the theater again. And so I was like, hopefully, maybe they'll just cancel this idea for the show and make another Child's Play or a movie in line with that universe. But it didn't happen, obviously. And we've mentioned that show like almost on every episode now. Um, I cannot explain my disdain for something I've never seen. But what are you gonna do, huh? Booby. Um,
Yeah.
as for me, I gave it a 68. Not too far from what you had. Um, I don't really have much to say. Honestly, this episode's gonna be extremely short, just so anybody who's watching knows, because we just really don't have shit to say, and we got another show we're doing in like half an hour or so on the other channel, Rage of Razor. If you're interested in the DC universe, we're gonna do a post mortem of the DC EU. And then tomorrow is Superman's birthday, so we're gonna get on there again and talk about Superman's birthday. Just maybe do some talking about our favorite guys to wear the suit, favorite Lois Lane, shit like that. Maybe rank the movies. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We
Sounds
still
good.
don't have a name for the show. So,
Oh yeah,
uh,
I
yeah,
forgot.
I can't come
It's
up
like
with
I'll
anything.
brainstorm something.
Yeah, I'll brainstorm something. More like brain fog. Me
Yeah,
too. I totally forgot about it. I've been like so caught up in work and shit and comics. Um, but in now the Crow. What about that Crow picture? Can we talk about that for a quick second? I know we're going to on Sunday when we talk about the Crow, but what about the tattoos? What are your overall thoughts on the Crow? I don't have images to show off, and I don't want to because they look dumb.
yeah. Not for me. I'll just say that.
Um, they look like
If
shit.
it's oh, motherfucker,
That's all I'm gonna say. What? What do you say, motherfucker?
yeah.
For?
I froze up there for a minute, so but yeah, I saw those pictures and I'm like, really? That's that's it. No, thank you. I'll give it a shot when it comes out, and who knows? Maybe the trailer will sell me on it. But
I would like that to happen, but I have a strange feeling that the trailer's not gonna do dick for me. He looks so dumb. And I've seen so many things. It's like you remember a few years ago when Sonic the Hedgehog, they put up pictures of him for his movie, and people bitched. They were so unhappy with the way he looked, and that was CG. And they went in and fixed it. They made him look more like the video game. It's like I wish that would happen more often because he looks awful. Somebody said he looks like a SoundCloud rapper, which made me laugh pretty hard. He does. He looks so dumb. He's got tattoos above on his hairline. He's got a
yeah,
tattoo above his eyebrow. He's got a tattoo here. He looks so fucking. I don't understand what these tattoos. He's got a tattoo of a woman's face, and her eye is his fucking nipple. It's what the fuck is with the. They just hey let's James O'Barr. I wonder how he feels. I honestly wonder how he feels about these images. The creator of the Crow. Nobody seems to care. I bet we have nobody watching on Sunday because nobody cares about the Crow. I'm appalled. I don't think I'm gonna watch that movie. I didn't watch Wicked Prayer with Eddie Furlong. So I was like, Eddie Furlong, the Crow's kind of a
oh, that
sex
one's
symbol in a
terrible.
way. Well, I mean, look at the first two guys, good looking guys, Vincent Perez and Brandon Lee, and then and I like City of Angels. I didn't think it was that bad. It's not great, but I didn't think it was that bad. But the next two movies with Eric Mambius and fucking Eddie Furlong, seriously, that's who we got to play the for Eddie Furlong. You know, Pecker, John Connor. So I'm not, and I'll be
I will
honest.
say I actually have a soft spot for the Pro Salvation.
Why? Well, okay, tell me why you like Salvation or not. I haven't seen it since it came out. Pro Salvation, so I couldn't really comment on it. Okay, gotta fix this before the next show. Um, there's our combined score, 69%. Felt like that was the perfect image for it. Um, Seth, do you have anything else before we? I'm gonna wrap this up.
Now let's just wrap it up.
Yeah, maybe give your computer the old reboot. See if that helps before the next show. It sucks because the other day, Sunday night, when we were doing your show, luckily it was everything
Yeah.
was working out really well. You know, you were coming through clear, gave us a lot of hope.
Yeah.
Uh,
I had high hopes.
yeah, just like the DeFeo family. Real fast though, what is it about Crow Salvation that you like? If you can tell me.
I like the story. I like the score. The guy that plays the crow isn't, you know, the greatest actor, um, but I thought he was fine in it. I like the whole idea of, a character being executed and coming
Hmm.
back as the crow. I liked, I forget what's his name. He played the villain, uh, the guy from Tremors. Blank on a name, Fred Ward.
Fred Ward,
Um,
yeah.
I yeah, I like the whole storyline with the cops, and I don't know. It's just for me. I've always enjoyed part three because I don't really care for part two very much at all. Besides the fact that I give part two a lot of credit for it being, a father avenging a child
Hmm.
as
Yeah.
opposed to like you know a lover. But um I don't know. Part three is like one of those movies where I can watch it anytime. Really, it's not like I'm gonna go out of my way often to watch it, but I'll put it in and I have a good time with it. And I think the score in that movie is really good. I used to listen to it quite a bit.
Hmm. Well, I'm going to introduce my kids to The Crow this weekend before our show on Sunday, which the Horror Syndicate Discourse will be talking about The Crow. We're trying to take a couple of calculated risks with the Horror Syndicate in the coming weeks. That, and we're going to talk about Tim Burton's 1989 Batman film at some point very soon on the Horror Syndicate Discourse. If it doesn't go well, then we won't do it again. If it does, maybe we'll do Batman Returns because I love Batman Returns. It's my favorite Batman movie. Plus, I think there's a lot of horror fans that are just straight out geeks like we are. What do you think, Seth?
Yeah, absolutely. When it's not like we're gonna be talking about like I don't know, fucking like a comedy or something. We'll be talking about some really dark films. I mean, the Crow and Tim Burton's Batman movies are pretty dark and they borderline
Mm-hmm.
horror in some aspects. So, and not to mention it's I mean it's the horror syndicate's your creation. You can do what the fuck you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna change the name of the Horror Syndicate to Razor Syndicate. What do you think about that? I'll take my 60 followers and do whatever I want, which I do basically, but it's all what I want with horror. We passed 1,700 subscribers on YouTube. I want to thank everybody who does subscribe. Really appreciate that. I'm confident we'll get to 2,000 by the end of the year. What do you think, Seth? Do you think we'll get there?
Yeah, actually, we've seen quite a bit of growth pretty fast over the last several months. So
Yeah, I don't remember where we were um, at the beginning. I wish I would have remembered. I might be able to find it in a message or something like that. But we've gotten pretty far since the year began. I feel like we were in the 1500s when the year began.
yeah, well, we had a really big boost too with did um when we did the Halloween movies, especially Halloween 4. We got like 10,000 views on that
Hmm.
on YouTube, and I think from there on we started seeing a growth in people subbing, and then uh, a lot of our Child's Play stuff has been doing really well there too. American War from London, that one actually did very well as well.
Hmm.
Um, Bad Moon has last time I checked like 9 point something thousand views.
What is it?
So pretty good for us.
Bad what? Bad Moon?
Bad Moon?
Really?
Yeah, our Bad Moon episode. Yep. That's like right
I,
behind Halloween 4.
interesting. I had no idea. I was just looking at
I
the.
check the numbers frequently.
Yeah, I'm looking now. Let's see. Oh, we gotta do another one of those soon too. Oh, 1.6 thousand views on the Seed and Bride of Chucky, 1.7 on Child's Play 3, 1,000. Wow. Oh yeah, 3.4 on American Werewolf in London. Hmm. Phantasm 914, Phantasm 2 80. That's funny.
Yeah.
Halloween did really well. Yeah, I don't see the numbers very often. I look at other numbers that are in the um, analytics that tell me um, a different story for a different time. Anyway, yeah. So please subscribe. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Next week we are going to be doing the Child's Play ranking of all of the. How many are there? 8, 7? How many Child's Play movies are there now? There's 3, 4, 8. There are 8 of them.
8 total. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be ranking all 8 of the Chucky movies. Let's just say that, and then we will be starting Hellraiser the following week. So, and that's going to be a long journey. I want to thank Sean Sheridan for sitting through all those other Hellraiser movies like a trooper, like the trooper that he is, so we can hear about how much he hated a lot of the other ones. And then beyond that, Evil Dead will be this summer, and a lot of other cool stuff. Um, you got that out whenever we did the Bride episode. You don't have to tell us now. We know you love it. Anyway, and then October we're going to be doing some Hammer horror, which I'm excited about. How excited are you about this, Seth?
Very. I looking forward to revisiting, especially the Frankenstein films.
So let me ask
Those are my
you: if you had
favorites.
a favorite Hammer horror, what would it be?
Curse of Frankenstein.
It's a good one. I think underrated is Curse the Werewolf, but
Yep, it's a good one too.
I'm a big fan of all those Frankenstein movies for the most part. I think Horror of Frankenstein, the one without Peter Cushing, is actually better than uh, what I expected. Kind of a remake, you know. They're trying to do that at one point, even though like Christopher Lee was still Dracula. But anyway, do you have any final words on Child's Play 2019 before we wrap up the show and piss off for a little bit before the next show?
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, me either. It's mid, and
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, we'll be back on the Rage of Razor channel if you want to go there. It's sorry.
Fucker, you're making me yawn.
I know. I'm tired. I'm very tired tonight. Didn't sleep well last night. My finger is. I got like a cut
Thanks a
on my
lot,
finger. It's
dickhead.
all swollen. I don't understand why. Yawning is contagious. You know, it's so weird.
I don't get it either.
So you can see somebody yawn and they'll
Yeah.
start yawning. It's like, what the fuck? How much sense does that make? I mean, let me ask you, and I know you've been a part of this. You've seen a lot of people shit. Does that make you shit?
I have not seen a lot of people shit.
Puking is also contagious, but I think that has to do with how gross it is.
Yeah.
You know, seeing somebody can puke can make you puke. Plus the smell.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I got a weak
Anyway,
stomach, so
do you? I'm not. Mine's not so bad.
yeah, I
Actually,
have
I'd
to
rather smell puke than shit. But
yeah, it's like especially when I was a kid, I would have to turn my head during uh Stand By Me
oh,
during that
really?
one story, and then
Lard ass.
yeah, and
Boom baba, boom
also
baba.
with the Sandlot.
What? The Sandlot? When's there puking in that?
There's that scene where they go on the did they go on like a roller coaster or
Oh,
something like that, or they go on some
the
sort of ride and
spinning thing.
they put chew in.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
forgot about that. Yeah, I love that movie. Um, yeah. All right. Well, come Rage of Razor on YouTube, Retro Outsider on Facebook. I don't expect there will be a lot of viewers live, but we're gonna kind of go through our rankings, spend an hour or so, and just I don't want to. We're not going to spend too much time on them because there are 16 movies, and we both are got to get through the list. So, um,
No,
but we will see you on the other side Sunday. THS Discourse will be The Crow. I don't know if Jared will be back. He says he will be. Who knows? And then next Wednesday, the Child's Play ranking show. So we'll be done with Child's Play completely and moving into Hellraiser. We'll see how that does. Maybe we'll lose subscribers. Hope not. Anyway, Seth, I'll talk to you in a bit. Everyone else, have a great evening, and we will see you next week. Well, we'll see you Sunday on the other show. Bye.